Hello, my friends, Evolutionary Energy Arts family. Thank you guys for joining us once again today. Two in today. We don't usually go live twice in a day.
But I'm glad because I like to go live at least once a day.
Yes, it is definitely good and tremendous transmission of so many different ideas. Oh, thank you, GoPro Chicken. We appreciate it. Greetings from Jacksonville, Florida. Hey, did you feel the earthquake all the way up in Jacksonville? I don't know if you guys saw, but people were evacuated in Miami. It's crazy.
Yeah, it is. It's absolutely crazy. And hi, Nicole. Hey, Miss Stephanie. Hi, David. Bethany Kent. Oh, I love it when the room fills up. This is fun.
Yeah, great to see you guys again. Wow, there's just so much going on in this world. It's just wild what's going on today. 6 strings. Look at that. Thank you.
Oh, well, thank you so much.
And so good to see you guys. Yeah, Ray says there's a vaccine being developed, many others creating vaccines. Yeah, that's what we hear. There's a lot of that. It's interesting. And we're going to go through a whole bunch of that. Maybe I'll start in reverse. I'm just going to give it a few more moments to let more people join us. Brittany, good to see you over here. I saw you over at MBB's. We popped in on MBB's live stream. He's great. I love him. Appreciate him. And saw a lot of family members over there, which is so cool. Because, the EA family, we're part of a bigger family too, and we all have our little different takes. You guys know I'm friends with David at Adapt and Steve at WSO and Blue Kool-Aid, as well as some others. And so it's great to talk with other YouTubers as well and get their opinions on things. And there's a lot of things to get opinions on now. I mean, there's so much going on.
Yeah, there's a lot going on, and there's already information going through the chat room about essential oils and what can help. And I always appreciate you guys throwing that information in there. And other people do too, but always do your research.
Yeah, most definitely do your research. And, I think it's time right now, if you're able to right now, do whatever stocking up you can do. And so I shared with you guys, we didn't buy anything for Christmas, but if we looked out on the porch and it looked like Christmas Day with all the boxes coming in today, because I really don't want to make any more trips around people. And I saw a comment somewhere, I forget where it was, what it was saying, that there was just so many people that were gambling in Vegas, over from China. And so, we are 2 hours, I'd say, north of Vegas. Thereabouts, and we do get people from everywhere that even pass through this area. It's one of those things that you have to be aware of. So as much as possible, I would say stock up now. Stock up now if you can. Avoid people in general. Avoid big public gatherings. We are still seeing people in China jam-packed into these little areas, even though they got their masks on, and we got some more masks in today. I wasn't aware that Cindy's mom had another batch coming in, but she snuck some in, so that's cool. And, again, no fear, just prepare. And boy, do we got to prepare.
Yeah, we do. We have a lot to prepare. What's good, though, is that most of you have been following the channel for a couple of years, and you guys are already kind of know what to prepare. I mean, you might not be prepared, but you have some idea as far as what to do. We have a lot of rice, beans, lentils, and stuff like that in nutrition. You want to try to fit as much nutrition as you can. And all of this while keeping a smile on your face. Seriously, be joyful. It spreads good hormones. It spreads good energy. And I know, of course, that's not a cure-all for everything, but if you're feeling like low and down and sad, put a smile on your face, pull that energy up, because this is not a time to be having low energy. We don't want that. There's a lot of stuff going on. Like there was another earthquake. We were kind of concerned why there wasn't any like aftershocks with that one, but then there was like a 6.1 shortly thereafter, and now we're having some aftershocks. So a lot going on, and people felt that in Florida, which is amazing, absolutely incredible. And then I heard people were being evacuated from buildings in Florida. So yeah, you guys, there's a ton of stuff going on.
Yeah, and I just got a text from Blue Kool-Aid too, and he just said that he sent me some graphs, which I could send probably to myself. You know, the last 7+ quake we had happened when we got hit with a CME. Today we were hit with a solar storm, and within minutes both those quakes struck. So you know, he wanted to share that with you guys as well. So thank him for that info as well. Yeah, it's interesting because a lot of times we don't see all this, and right now it's just like there's just almost too much to keep up with right now. It's crazy. And so I know you guys wanted some numbers too, and let me dig up some stuff here. I got a lot of interesting info. So okay, so we're going to start with official stuff. And before we go there, let me start here. And David Lewis shared this with me. This is Dr. Paul Cottrell. And he goes through the parameters of what we're seeing. And just, you know, short and quick, you guys got the link for you so you can watch this on your own. Bottom line is that he says there's absolutely no way this is natural. So that's his analysis, that there's absolutely no way in the world this is natural. I mean, it's like a 1 in less than 1,000 chance that this is naturally occurring. So, you know, I think a lot of us believe that as well. Nicole, you know Paul Cottrell. Yeah, so, yeah, I think most of us think that's the case, you know, and Kelly Moore says horsemen is riding. So when you think about that, I mean, if you want to take a look at a prophetic mindset, and we know that this is not a natural occurrence, this is a man-made occurrence, you know, so how do we view it in light of that as well? It's just something to think about. Now, as far as looking at this graph, this is what we put up there. This is Dr. Eric Feigl-Ding again. Yeah, this is going straight up the curvature, as you can see. And he's got a lot of good info. He really does. And again, he's a public health scientist, epidemiologist, and he's been associated with Harvard. And you know, this is really increasing. Now, the WHO has put out their numbers, and of course, they're kind of like way behind. I think most of us recognize they're way behind. They've been so damn slow in moving. So right now, they're showing 4,593 confirmed, 6,973 suspected, 976 severe, 106 deaths. This is in China. Outside of China, 56 confirmed in 14 countries. Risk assessment, China, very high. Regionally, high. Global level, high. You know, well, you know, why are they moving so slow? I think that, you know, the way they're moving so slow has a lot of people either scratching their heads if they're kind of on the innocent side, or maybe scowling and starting to look at things very sarcastically.
Well, yeah, you know, I mean, why are they moving so slow? I think most of us here kind of know why they're moving so slow. If this is a bioweapon, and if they wanted to cause damage and do nasty things to the population, then it would behoove them to move slow. So that's why we can't really afford to move slow. We need to look internal, look inside ourselves, and start getting ready now. We still, even though the numbers look really bad, we still have time to get ready.
So this is Helen Braswell, and she's showing China's new numbers. So case count now stands at nearly 6,000 in China, and that includes Hong Kong, Macau, and Taiwan and their count and 132 deaths. So jumped 1,459 cases and 26 deaths overnight. There are about 64 in more than a dozen other countries. No deaths so far outside of China. And so, it's interesting to follow that. And we have a couple links out of the Hal Turner radio show. A lot of you guys keep saying, check out Hal Turner. So we've been doing that. We've been, following it as well. And, again, he's going to the RO factor, which we've talked about. Spanish flu, 1.8, right? And, weaponized to be greater than 5. The commonly accepted RO of 2.6 amongst many of the mainstream is what we're looking at for this. Now, Dr. Eric was showing yesterday some new numbers that some studies have been showing possibly even being over that 5 level. So we'll see. We'll see most definitely. But any way you look at it, it's really damn high as far as the amount of people that are going to get infected from others. And here you see the San Francisco activating emergency operations center to prepare for coronavirus. And this is where they're going to be flying some of the Americans into. Scary situation we see. Again, prep, prepare as much as you can. Just jumping over here, we have the first possible case of coronavirus in Maryland. State health officials investigate 2 cases, and this is in Oklahoma. Miami University, which is in Ohio, also is looking at some possible cases that have happened there as well. And jumping back over, we are still seeing chaos going on. Now this is in China, and look at this. Here you have a vehicle. They've blockaded people in, blockaded people out. So you have people now. Look at this chaos. I mean, they're tearing down blockades. They're bombarding an ambulance, it looks like, trying to go through and throwing things at it. Some are hitting each other. It's just, this is like a zombie apocalypse movie, don't you think, when you look at scenes like this?
This is really morbid. This is something that could actually happen here, I mean, if it can happen there, it could happen here. Most people would think, it's just unheard of to try to quarantine more than 50 million people, but you know what, they did it, and I'm sure people are getting out, but it's not unheard of for them to do anything anymore. And this is I kind of sense this is a test run to see how things would go everywhere else, which is really pretty nasty. Look at these people are trying to move this machine. I don't know if that's like an ambulance or if it's a tank. Oh, it looks like an ambulance. And they're like throwing boards and stuff at it, in it. I would hate to be driving that ambulance. And they're in some kind of a tunnel.
Yeah, there's a lot of chaos going on right now, and there's going to be a lot of food shortages. There are obviously shortages of all sorts of medicine. And in China's getting decimated. China is really getting decimated. It's starting to, it's too early to talk about other countries really at this point, but there's an awful lot of questions. We've heard about, the stolen materials from the labs and, things like that. And, what that level 4 biohazard lab that they have, just happen to have there in Wuhan as well. A lot of people are very, very suspicious, and you have a lot of experts saying there's no way this is, naturally occurring. So then it is a case of, well, who released it? Who did what? First off, was it an accident, or was it more of something that's terrorist related, or perhaps even something more nefarious, than that? What is really going on here? The chaos that's going on in China is just, it's incredible to see little glimpses of this. This is Harry Chen, PhD, on Twitter, and he's on top of a lot of stuff as well. Dr. Chen. What I want to share with you guys too is what I got from my sources that are more on the inside as well. As far as numbers, what I heard is probably a likely range as far as cases is 9 to 11 million infected, 210 to 250,000 dead. And so again, that's unofficial as well. That's rumors that are coming from inside the area. And, again, it's all guesstimates because none of us know, because so much of it's not even being reported. There's so many people that are not being reported. We hear time and time again that, the dead are just, they're just incinerating them and getting rid of the bodies because it's just too much to handle. So, that the numbers that say 100 dead, they're way, way low from what we are hearing from people that are actually inside China and seeing and experiencing things. And there's still people that are just dropping in the streets as we go as well.
Yeah, and let's see. Nicole brought up a really good point. She said these people live in fear and these people live in fear and submit to their government. Think how bad it truly is to make them act out like this. I couldn't agree more, Nicole. That's like really chilling, that they're already suppressed and repressed, and yet they're so desperate to do something like this, knowing the kind of trouble that they could get in, will be in, are going to get in. It's like going up against, a huge, huge bully, but not just any bully, a bully with resources that can seriously hurt you. So yeah, this is just heartbreaking. I think we need to send these people love and energy and everything as well as ourselves.
Yeah, and going on a slightly different subject, my other source that I do trust a lot and really take seriously was talking about the earthquakes. And remember, Tesla had an earthquake machine, back in like 1890. And thinking about that, with that in mind, right? They were saying, look to Taiwan, China, Colombia, Mexico. Basically said that they wouldn't travel between 25 north and 25 south of the equator at all this year. Would kind of avoid that. So if you guys could put two and two together about that, let's see if anybody's getting what I'm saying. Again, the more I've studied things, the more I think that there's an awful lot of technology out there that can mimic Mother Nature. And so, yeah, exactly. Jeanette, there's a lot of technology out there that can definitely mimic Mother Nature. So realizing, all the things that we know together as we're putting all these puzzle pieces. Mystifying, I hope it's just a little bit of a cold. And again, zinc, I just ordered 5 pounds of ginger, powdered ginger, and because that source was also saying ginger is a something that'll definitely help with this particular virus, along with, let's see, what was that recipe that she gave? Mm-hmm. It was ginger and
save immune system.
Okay, equal proportions of garlic, lemon, honey, and oh my God, while I'm looking at it, Google comes in and interferes. They are watching every freaking move. Everything. Equal proportions, so they don't want this getting out. Equal proportions of garlic, lemon, honey, make a pesto. Have a tablespoon 3 times a day for the next 2 weeks. So that's something that you guys might want to run with too. Again, equal proportions of garlic, lemon, and honey as a pesto. And then have it 3 times a day for the next 2 weeks. Help boost the immune system. So again, the numbers that I was hearing was 9 to 11 million infected and about 210,000 to 250,000 lost. And again, it's all conjecture, but that's just from sources in there estimating what's happening. And rosemary throws in cloves, black pepper, garlic, ginger, and turmeric. Boil. And I don't know, did you guys get to catch my recipe on tonight's dinner, which we haven't eaten yet? It's a lentil curry, madras curry, and tons of ginger, tons of garlic in it, and tons of hot and spicy stuff, which is yummy. So let's jump back over here. So obviously chaos going on inside of China. Let's hope that doesn't become a global thing that we're seeing. And here's what some of the roads look like now. So obviously nobody's passing on this particular road, although I do see a road farther back that people were driving on. Must be that this one leads out of town. And here we have, just some random thuggery, I guess, going on. The people that they discover are from Wuhan and going into neighboring provinces like Sichuan. The citizens are grabbing them and beating them up in some cases. It's brutal. It's chaos going on. Very disconcerting to see all this.
Mm-hmm. And MRK wants to know, what do you know about the Dreamtime, the Hopi? I've heard a lot of things about the Hopi. I don't know specifically about Dreamtime, though.
Well, in the past, we were in Dreamtime, a different state of consciousness. So we're waking up to the fact that we are basically in a dreamlike state and unaware of it in this 3D, when we're awake reality. So we could control so much of this. And we're also merging up into a higher density of being. So we're returning to Dreamtime, which means we have a lot more power and control over our individual and collective reality. And it's a good thing that we're returning to Dreamtime. Because you could equate Dreamtime to the Golden Age, and what we have been experiencing is the Dark Age. So, it's a return to a better time, a better world, a better place, where we will be living in more of a unity consciousness and kind of escaping this duality that we see all around us. Yeah, it's kind of crazy. I believe that it's because he's from Wuhan. Now, we had talked about before, there's 5 million people that left Wuhan. So, there's a lot of people that were probably exposed to the virus in Wuhan that left the area. Some just going to do the New Year's holiday with family and things like that, because it's Chinese New Year. Others left because they wanted to escape ground zero of the virus. And so when people realize people are from Wuhan and they're now, in their mind, spreading the virus into their hometown, city, state, province, they're taking justice into their own hands, which is a horrible thing. And so here you see the still exponential spread right here. The values are by the WHO. It's just, just an escalating situation going straight on up the line. Now, this is a couple in their 50s from Hubei province that were infected with the coronavirus, the devil virus, they're calling it. And they are both cured or deemed cured and released from a hospital in Shanghai. So some people are recovering, and let's hope not relapsing later. But again, you have to wonder, the doctors would say probably they're safe. They're not going to spread it because they've gone through their fever. They've broken it. Their bodies have overcome it. Hopefully we'll see more and more of that. Hopefully we'll see a much lower death rate than what appears to be happening. And this little guy is giving us an example of what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to scrub everything down. Clean. What did Barb say?
fanatical hand washing, you guys. Fanatical. And she used to be an ER nurse for like 20 years, and she's dodged many a bug, and that's what she's done. That's what she continues to do.
So this little guy's saying, don't blame it on me. I'm doing my part. Look at how clean I am. Look at this. I got this covered. So it ain't me. I'm not spreading nothing. Isn't he cute?
Yeah.
He's freaking adorable. And here you see somebody, again, more cases of this, which we have seen all over the place. Just people walking and then just dropping. Just still dropping like flies. So if we've seen so many cases of this, do we really believe there's only 100 fatalities or a little bit over 100?
Right, and I did see a little blip off of, they were having like a meeting, I believe it was the CDC, and they were talking about how fast it can get from one person to the next, and they're saying, well, initial reports are going to be the worst, and that's when fatalities are the highest, but, we can assure you that we're learning as much as we can, as fast as we can, and trying to get on top of this. And then they were trying to make China out to sound like that China was the bad, because they were saying we have extended our hand to try to help, and they've said no a couple of times. So they're setting China up to be the bad guy here. When I don't know. I don't think they're the bad guy at all. I don't think, we know who's in charge of this. It's just really not a fair situation going on. But they were trying to basically just smooth everything over, like, no, we got this, just relax. Yeah, we know the RO number is like pretty high, but that's to be expected. So yeah, it's all really quite concerning, the more I watch, and to be the smack in the middle of it, getting all of this information, because I don't want to go out and fearmonger. I don't want to scare people. That's like the last thing that I want to do. I love to spread the happiness, the joy, the love, the healing vibrations. But I think this is important enough to come online and let you guys know that what we're hearing too, and what we think and what we feel.
Yeah, most definitely. So, there was a question, you think it's airborne? Yeah, it's airborne, sure. And it can be spread by contact with, if for say for instance, somebody touched a shopping cart, and they had it and they sneezed, right? And then they put their hand on the shopping cart. From what I saw, even after scrubbing with alcohol, there was still like a 70% chance it could infect. So, yeah, it could be transmitted through contact as well as the air, is what they say. And as Jeanette says, yeah, can get in the eyes as well. Be aware of that as well. And food, most definitely, it's a huge issue. As Bill says, think of those less fortunate in these times. Most definitely come together, as a family. And we are trying to wake up everybody over here. And we were grateful that, some friends and family did recognize it. And, like some of them were, kids basically, and not really kids, but, late teens, early 20s, and recognizing the issue and wide awake about it and concerned. So that was good, because that is good. Awareness could save lives, most definitely.
Yeah, awareness. That's where we need to be, is like awake and aware, but again, not in a state of fear, because that's how we're controlled the most. And just, vigilant. Wash your hands, take those extra precautions, do that little bit of extra work that's going to keep those bugs off of you. And I don't know about you guys, but I make my own colloidal silver, and I just ordered these amber bottles, and I'm going to fill the bottles and just spray the colloidal silver on my counters and stuff, because I know in this house we're still going to have people that are going to go in and out, and the kids are still going to go to school, and life is going to go on, but Michael and I were kind of in the thick of it, and we get all this information. So I'm going to treat it as if they are coming in with a coronavirus. I'm spraying everything with that colloidal silver, and Yeah, so I don't know. To me, that just seems like the right thing to do. Plus, it's not toxic. Nobody's going to get hurt. If I wanted to, I can wipe the kids' hands, faces with it, and it's not going to make anybody sick.
Most definitely, it's good to be as prepared as possible. Obviously, a lot of people are talking about the vaccines and the vaccines to come. And some people think it's all BS and not real, and it's all about the vaccines that are coming. And I think it's real, but it still may be about the V's coming as well, as they are. Well, we could look, and one of the articles is talking about how they're using AIDS, HIV vaccines that they're having quote unquote success with treating it, and obviously, I think a lot of us are awake. It's amazing how there's so little it seems like we are able to do when we're so aware of what's going on. And I think I was saying that to Cindy at like 3 a.m. this morning, lying in bed, just saying, so many of us know what's going on. Why don't we do anything about it? Then again, a lot of us feel like, what can we do about it besides bring awareness to more people? And now we can't even really go out en masse and say, no more spraying. Because we're, going to be on lockdown probably, over here at some point. I would think the way things are going, I would imagine that we'll be on lockdown at some point. So you won't be able to have a public gathering saying, hey, no more spraying over our heads. No more this, no more that, That's another big notch up, as far as what we're seeing here. So China issues harsh warnings to silence social media postings on Wuhan pneumonia. And over in China, it's for real, because you'll end up in one of those encampments that the poor Uyghur people are in, the reconditioning camps. And it's serious over there. And it's serious in other places as well, but China already has in place the system of absolute total control, which is, to me, really horrible and disconcerting, to say the least. So you can't even really talk about it. And that's where people are getting ticked, and that's why we're seeing them throw stuff at ambulances and things. China-U.S. air traffic is in a free fall, to be expected, as is going to be air traffic period, as is going to be all mass transportation period. It's all getting hit, so the economies are getting really hit hard. Obviously, China is way more than anybody else is in this world, and I was reading an article earlier that was saying it's inevitable that there would be a war between China and the U.S. Just inevitable. It's just like two trains on a collision course, one coming up, one that's been going, steady, and they're going to impact. And I gotta wonder, how much is this about that as well? Because economically, China is getting devastated. Obviously, they're losing people. They do have a huge population, but economically, they're getting so devastated. So you got to wonder exactly, really, 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 what is going on here as well in the big scheme of things.
Yeah, on a higher perspective, what exactly are they doing? I don't even like to play the tape out in my head to imagine what they are doing. I have to stop at a certain point just to keep my sanity. Because if you really play the tape out, it's nasty. It's just pure nastiness. So I kind of choose not to live in that state. So I stop just shy of it, and I do what I can. I wash my hands and clean things up and kind of prepare, take notes, do this and this and that. But yeah, this is all really horrible, horrible stuff that I'm not sure if I thought I knew I would see it. And I think I knew I would see something in this lifetime, but I wasn't exactly sure what. When it feels like I could always feel something big out in the ether that we would see and feel in this lifetime. and this is something that's always kind of haunted me as far as what is happening to these folks, with them getting sick and stuff. And here it is, but I guess we still can kind of create our own reality, and we all still have the option to choose an outcome. And I mean, that's what I'm doing. I'm keeping everything. It's just not going to come here. It's not welcome here.
So out of Zero Hedge, we see White House weighing complete shutdown of passenger plane traffic from China. I would have thought it should have done it already, I mean, wouldn't you think so? I would. And Japan and Germany confirm human-to-human transmission. U.S., UK warns citizens to avoid all non-essential travel to China, I would say, period. And President Xi said China has taken the devil virus very seriously and will contain it. Governors and mayors across the U.S. bracing for viral outbreaks. Reports that China has refused U.S. offer of assistance. That Beijing is withholding data from the CDC. Thailand reports 6 new cases, bringing their total to 14. So, things are most definitely escalating here. We can see United cancels flights to and from China. That's good. As CDC steps up coronavirus screenings. Americans should not worry for their own safety, Health and Human Services Secretary Alex Azar said. Yeah, I don't think I buy that one. I think, again, we should be proactive, much more proactive than we've seen the officials do. And over here, let's translate this one. Coronavirus 4th confirmed case in France as well. So we see 4 over there. And, this is disconcerting. Many planes actually made it out of Wuhan yesterday and today.
Oh, isn't that nice? Yeah. So they're still letting planes out. It was really strange. A few days ago when I heard about this, I was trying to, just for fun, see if I could get a ticket into Wuhan. And I couldn't get a ticket to fly into Wuhan. But, oh boy, that's sure nice that they're letting planes fly out of Wuhan. I think all the planes, everything should be grounded. If what's coming is as bad as what we're hearing, I mean, all transportation needs to stop. I mean, all of it, like the mail system, like everything, until we can get a handle on this. I personally, I'll be in a little bit of a predicament because I rely on the mail system for everything out here. But, who cares at that point? If things are that bad, choose your poison. I'd much rather be a little uncomfortable and in a predicament than have this thing continue to spread. This is horrible.
Yeah, it is. And it's boggling to the mind that they allow this. So just like that, more than 1,000 people on 3 flights from China walked into Canada without medical screening. That's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. If the coronavirus happens to be incubating in any one of those passengers who arrived at Pearson International Airport's Terminal 3 on Monday, they're now mingling with Canadian residents. I was asked when we got to the Canadian Customs Inspection Point if I had been to Wuhan the past 14 days or if I had a fever, said Jerry, who was with his wife, traveled from Shanghai. I said no. And that was it. And he walked straight through. And many planes managed to get out of Wuhan over the past few days. And this is where some of them are going. You see San Francisco. Wow. That's just... I don't understand that. Why? How? It doesn't seem to be logical.
No, it doesn't. And now's a really good time to get in touch with yourself. Go within. Besides doing your normal prepping, it's a good time to meditate because that's been proven to raise the immune system. Also, rosemary is putting some seriously good gems in here. There was just one about cayenne pepper, cat's claw, and she also has a website too. I highly, highly, highly recommend going to her website and looking up more information and getting in touch with Rosemary because she's just such a wealth of good, wonderful information. And she's like trained in everything. She's completely wonderful, awesome, sweet, and brilliant. So yeah, and the stuff, cayenne pepper, can help like on the onset or even before. I think one of the things that I know as far as vitamin C goes is I would rather take cloves than vitamin C. I heard cloves have like a higher percentage of whatever the stuff is in vitamin C that vitamin C has. But yeah, boost the immune system, do everything you possibly can. And I started taking oil of oregano. Yeah, I do oil of oregano. It's really, I do a few drops in a glass of water and I chug that, and that gives me a ton of energy. I can't do it at nighttime because, I won't sleep. It does something for the brain that's really, really good.
So the world's pharmaceutical supply chain is in danger as the virus spreads across China. Obviously jeopardizing travel and trade. And, a lot of things are obviously made in China. That's just one of the things to realize. And a lot of people can't go to work. They're on shutdown. So there's going to be a massive repercussion from this. That's just going to emanate across the planet in many different ways. But, don't underestimate the financial impacts all over and the ability for people to support themselves as well as support their family, loved ones. And just now, there's going to be a lack of so many things that are going to pop up. So all of it points to the fact that we need to be as self-sufficient as possible. We need to work together as well as possible. Think about your closest friends, family members, the skills that you have. I mean, really start talking about, what do we do if it becomes sort of like that over here? What are we going to do? Have a plan. And recognize too, like a lot of your family and friends might be absolutely clueless. They might be completely sleepwalking. And so, are you going to be able to help them as well? And just think about that. And then again, you might have friends that have a farm, just outside of town or something like that. And there's so much we could do when we pull together. So now is really the time to make plans, pull together, come together in groups. And as you see here out of Zero Hedge, what happens when a biological virus turns into a financial virus? Because that's what's going to happen now. And this is going to be very interesting to watch. And it really could be, and I've had quite a few people that are really in the know, way more experts than I am on the financial end of things, say this could be the perfect storm that triggers that massive financial collapse that we've all heard about for so long.
Yeah, I'm still going to just count on this petering out. I know it's probably not going to peter out, but, the fear that can be involved in this can make people do crazy things, and I really think we need to be focused on going within and preparing. And there's a lot of really scary things that could happen. Yeah. But if we're just doing, what we can do for that day, then we don't give this any more thought. And if you do give it thought, maybe how about a thought on like a quiet outcome?
Yeah, we do have power. So, again, we need to be preparing for the worst, but also praying, setting out the intentions for the best, and utilizing our ability. Because if we are heading into a dream time again, everything is so much more manipulative, even in a positive way. So we could manipulate our reality in a positive way much, much quicker and easier. And we've noticed, Cindy and I, how easy it is, how much quicker it is to actually manifest things now. And I know a lot of you guys have noticed that too. So, this is a challenge for us, but it's really a test. And here we see cheers, fear, and panic grip China as the coronavirus spreads, unfortunately. And the man burst out with a shout at the last second as medical workers boarded a bus headed to Wuhan, basically saying he loves one of them that's going to, put herself in danger and try to help others. And he sobbed, gasping as his wife joined an emergency response team headed, to the epicenter. And, people do amazing things in these times. We see a lot of people, like in the videos doing amazingly bad things, but there are also people that just, it brings out the absolute best in them. The best in them. And, they just, they give, and it's beautiful.
Yeah, they do. And, they'll give until they just can't give anymore. And a lot of people do that, especially, healers and nurses and stuff like that. And we have to remember, too, that when it comes to us, we are going to be around people that are still asleep and might not really take this seriously. Sometimes people don't take anything seriously until it actually literally comes right knocking on your front door. So, but just being aware of that and understanding and having a knowing that you still have power. You can still go around and, clean things up with a little bit of bleach water and stuff. But gosh, don't sink into fear. That makes people do the worst, absolute worst, craziest stuff. If we sink into fear and helplessness, we are not helpless. We are not hopeless. We didn't come here for no reason. We came here to help people and, not just cower in fear in a corner. That's not the point. The point is to come on here and help people, get a little control and be prepared.
I see White Porcelain made it. Good to see you as well. Vitamin D, yeah, very, very important. It definitely boosts the immune system, and so many of us, especially in the winter, are low on vitamin D. And that is super important. There's so many things we could do to boost ourselves. A lot of people are talking about boron as well. I'm talking about nanotech. I'm a firm believer in it. I know nanotech is real, and I don't doubt it, that it's inside so many people right now, if not all of us. And so that's a way, ingesting food-grade boron is a way to do that. Rosemary is more the expert than me. She has brought it up and made me aware of it as well. And we need to be boosting our immune systems. We need to be doing everything we can for not just us, but our families and our friends too, because there are going to be so many people that are going to be exposed to different things. The more awareness, the better. So the coronavirus is a black swan event that may have serious repercussions for the U.S. economy and the job market. A lot of things. A black swan event is a term used on Wall Street that refers to a rare and unpredictable occurrence that's beyond what is expected and has severe consequences. It's derived from European explorers who had previously thought that all swans were white and only white, and that was all they knew. They were overcome with shock and confusion when Dutch explorer Wilhelm de Vlaming discovered the existence of black swans in Australia. The coronavirus is a black swan event which may have serious consequences for your job, the stock market, and global economy. And then it gets into how our economy has been strong, but this is going to affect the entire world. And it really is so interesting that we have this massive trade deal that comes through, and then all of a sudden this pops up. And you know what? China's economy is in shambles and deteriorating fast. And over here you see, could the coronavirus epidemic be the tipping point in supply chain leaving China? So is this something that could derail the ascent of China, which all the experts say is inevitable, that they are going to be the number one power in the world at some point in time and pass the U.S. Some think 2030, 2035, 2040. And is this something that would potentially derail that completely? And, if so, then again, you got to wonder, was this manufactured? And then you got to wonder, well, who would stand the benefit from this situation happening, really? Would China benefit doing this to themselves? That doesn't seem to be logical. So there's a lot of quote-unquote evidence out there of, perhaps that being the case, whether they did it accidentally or smuggled in some stuff from Canada, as we've seen. But, ask yourself, who's to benefit? Who's to benefit? Right? So the other thing that we have heard and I've talked about before is that there are powers that be. One of them is the banking cabal led by the 13 families that we've heard about. including the Red Shields, for those of you guys that know. And then the other one is the MIC, that we hear Kennedy and Eisenhower talk about, that's growing in power, the military-industrial complex. And so there's the thought that there's this battle going on between the royals, right, the pure blood elite, which is the banking cabal of the 13 families who have had power, period, pretty much, for the most part. And the MIC, which has grown in power. And so there's a battle between the two of them, because the banking cabal and the old families were ready to pack up shop and move to China, basically, do operations out of, do business out of, have the power shift to China, because the Chinese system is easier to control everybody. It's easier to control the masses. So that's what they wanted. They wanted to take power away from the American Empire, which, the British Empire moved westward to America, basically. It's the same thing. The Roman Empire moved westward and into France briefly, and then into Britain, and then eventually to the U.S. Sumerian Empire, went first to Rome, then to, the Empire of Charlemagne that was in France, and then, through the papacy and the Catholic Church, and then eventually to the empire that, the sun never sets on, the British Empire, the American Empire, which is an extension of that. And then they were going to take it again west to China and base everything out of China, because, again, you have a dictator for life, president for life there. You have a system where everything's in place for complete, total control, easier to control people there by far. So it just makes it easier to set up shop and do business. But the MIC doesn't want that, and the MIC wants power to stay in this incarnation of the great Roman Empire. And so they're doing battle with each other. And so what we're seeing is basically the effects of that battle.
Yeah, that's why I have this guy next to me. He is so good at explaining that stuff. These are things that I can't really articulate very well, but he does have a handle on it, and he does understand it, and that's really wonderful to have him here to explain these things. There's just so much that we don't know, as far as the bigger picture goes. There's a lot of things out there that we all don't understand, but we've been kept in the dark on purpose. We've been kept in the dark just so we can be controlled, and this is fear spreading, and it's real fear. I'm not trying to downplay this virus in any way. It's real fear, but we do have the choice as far as how much are we going to let it control us. What we need to do is be getting ready, going within, talking to our family and our loved ones, and then be ready, because there's going to be people in our lives that aren't going to take this seriously until they see someone die, and that's just a cold, hard reality. We have been so pampered and so protected over here in the States. We just don't see things until it's like in our face. Or a lot of us, for me, I have, oh gosh, I don't know. I have this thing where I'll believe it when I see it type of attitude. And it's not that I don't believe this virus is out there. I do believe it. But I think it's cognitive dissonance, and we've been showered with that here in the States to not take, or to look at things not as they are, but how they are portrayed to us. And it's kind of a nasty little thing that they've done to us and trained us to feel. It's just not nice. It's a big game. It's a huge game. And we're we got to watch out for ourselves is what we got to do.
Okay, I see a lot of people talking about elderberry, and elderberry is super cool, and we got to order some. And, I'm going to order some plants too. I'm not sure. I got to look and see what we have to do to see if we can get them to grow here. But do you guys know Doug and Stacy? Because I follow a ton of homesteading channels and stuff. Well, they had a video out and they're in Missouri. They had elderberry that they planted like 5-6 years ago, and now it had spread tremendously. If you take it and there's like knuckles, you just need 2 knuckles, basically, and you could just cut up branches into a whole bunch of new plants. Dozens and dozens and dozens of new plants. You just need to leave 2 knuckles. So you cut below at the bottom part at a 45-degree angle, and then straight across at the top part. So these were, I'd say, 15, 16-inch long pieces, and then you just plant them like that, and they turn into all new plants. So these type of things, this is what, I'm studying as, we get time. So, we could definitely grow our own medicine. Most definitely. That's what we got to be doing, too. It's so important. So I do think we're witnessing a battle between that MIC component and the banking cabal component for control of the planet. Yet I do think that there are higher powers that are manipulating both of them against each other as well. So, this sign says it all, man. Coronavirus warning. This is big, guys. This is big. Even if this is ultimately about the V word, I think what we're seeing in China is real. That's what I'm getting. And I'm talking to people that sound really panicked because they're, over in that area and nervous and scared. I mean, who wouldn't be? Demand for prepper properties soars amid concerns about social stability and the virus and war and everything else. And, this is going mainstream here now. Americans right now are preparing for the worst in mass. More and more people. It's not just us. There is that lunatic fringe, and that song won't go out of my mind. Ever since I played it that night, I just can't get it out of my mind. Enough people see what's coming. As over here it's quoting again, over in Idaho, real estate agent Todd Savage also noticed a huge surge in interest in prepper properties. He says sales are up 50% compared to a year ago. 50%. And he says his clients are typically coming from Texas and California as well. So I think a lot of people are thinking about getting close to being able to get somewhere where they could bug out into the woods and just nobody will ever find them again.
And Ray wants to know, where does the Global Earth Alliance fit in? Saint Germain, ?
Well, I mean, I'm not going to speak specifically to that particular one, but in general, last night when I couldn't sleep, I was in like a meditative state, and what I'm getting, and I've shared this before, and I know there's people that won't like it because of their bringing up their background and stuff, and tend to view everything, if it's not coming straight out of the Bible, as evil. But I do believe that there's all sorts of benevolent beings. In the Hindu tradition, we call them devas, angelic beings. You could view them as angels. We could view them as star brothers and sisters, all sorts of different things. There are a lot of benevolent beings out there, but I think that it would take a lot of the masses to call for help, to have any sort of real help. I mean, I think they will help us on an individual basis, these beings do. But I think it's basically calling out on the mass, and by the masses that would bring in perhaps more help in mass. But I was getting that last night, laying there in bed, and it was coming to me. You got to ask. Chris B says the Devas are here. They are. I mean, we have contact with them on a regular basis, and one of Cindy's daughter's young friends, I don't know, she's like 12 or she last year. Yeah. Okay, last year she saw this golden orb in her room, and I've seen a golden orb like that. I woke up and it was right over my head, and it was during a period of time when I was doing a ton of deep meditation and prayer, and I knew it was angelic. It felt angelic. It felt so benevolent, and it was just letting me know it's there. And there's more than fallen angels out there. There's a lot of benevolent beings, but the thing is that most people are too afraid to call for help or to ask for help, or they'll just ask for it in one certain way. But most definitely, send out your intention that this dark cabal, as I watch the numbers jump from 415 to like 343, they're playing with them all the time, that this dark force that's controlling the planet be dissolved, that their power be taken away, that the masses wake up and we see them, being removed from power. That's what we have to focus on a big scale, all of us coming together and set our intentions for that and pray for it. Let's actually pray for it. If you want to pray to Jesus, then pray to Jesus in that light. Ask that this dark cabal be removed from power, and that humanity is free once again. And if it's Allah that you pray to, or any entities, or your higher self, or in the angelic realm, or the devas, just let it be in your heart and your head that these beings that are poisoning the planet, poisoning us, are removed from power, that we no longer accept it, and that we want our freedom, and we want them removed. We want the system taken down and them removed from power.
Yeah, we can do this energetically, and I think with all of the distractions right now, they have us looking outside of ourselves, rightfully so, because it's a very concerning issue. But if you think about it, they've always kind of controlled like what we look to, what we look at. So this time, let's go within and ask for the right outcome. Let's go within and ask for help and ask for energy. I know they're not expecting that, because we've been trained since babies to look outside of ourselves for the answers. And of course, we need to do like common practice, take our vitamins and do everything else, but we don't need to feed this the energy of fear. We can go within and work with it that way. And Rosemary, oh my gosh, she's just such a wonderful wealth of information. I cannot thank her enough. This is information that she's giving freely to anybody, and she's just gone through that hell over there in Australia, and she's still there. I'm hoping that things are better for her, because she's such a blessed individual.
Yeah, we thank you, Rosemary, and so many of you guys are so supportive out there. Susan Donahue's been so supportive of us, as well as so many of you guys have. It's been beautiful. So let's do that. Let's see how many of us can, in our prayers, our meditation, focus on that. Focus on this negative power that has controlled this planet, losing it. And say it in your prayers, make it be your mantra, that they are removed from power, because we don't acquiesce and we don't accept it anymore. And that would be something that'd be very positive.
Yes, indeed, extremely positive.
So my friends, as always, thank you for your support in every way, shape, and form. Like, share, subscribe. We're blocked on Facebook for, I don't know, another month or something.
Yeah, so if you could please hit the thumbs up, and any support you can provide is like, we're so grateful for it.
And, thank you for your support on Patreon. That really helps tremendously. Also on Ko-Fi. Make sure you're subscribed to the second channel, EE Arts. Do your preps out there and do your prayers and your intentions. Let's be part of the mechanism that is going to remove these people from power, these dark forces that don't give a crap about you and I, our families, our loved ones, the animals, the fish, the wildlife on the planet, the planet itself.
Thank you so much, Crispy. Oh, and Susan Donahue, you guys, thank you so much.
We love you guys. You guys are beautiful. So let's keep united, and let's get stronger in our unity, and let's affect positive change. God bless and namaste.
Namaste.